Tight hamstrings? I got you. Hamstring flexibility is not something that came natural to me. I kid you not, guys, I was as stiff as a 2x4. I could barely reach past my knees, and now I can get my palms all the way to the floor and lock out my knees, and I believe that if I can do it, you can too. I'm gonna go over 3 exercises for you to try, and then 2 secrets on top of that help me unlock a very high level of hamstring flexibility that I believe that anyone can build. So these 3 exercises are all gonna depend on your level of back pain, believe it or not. Some of these may feel very good and friendly to your lower back, and some might actually be triggers. So proceed with caution here, do whatever works best for you, and progress as I'm about to tell you in these couple movements. The first hamstring stretch here is what I call the split stretch. And this is gonna be the best one for you to do if you're in a lot of lower back pain right now, because when you do this stretch, your spine, your lower back is gonna be neutral and not stressed. So a lot of hamstring stretches out there, they're gonna require the lower back to fold or bend or you to hinge at the hips. With the split stretch, this is not the case. Since you have one leg going back and one leg going forward, the lower back is actually straight, neutral, and safe the whole time. So if you have lower back pain, start here. So to get into the split stretch, spread both legs apart like so to whatever your end level of flexibility is. And you want to straighten out the front leg as much as you can. If you have a slight bend of the knee, that is okay. If you need to use chairs for support, that is also okay. No matter where you are starting, just get into this position. And from here, I want you to slowly bend in and out of the stretch. So we're gonna alternate between loading the hamstrings and relaxing, and loading the hamstrings and relaxing. And I want you to exhale every time you load the hamstrings and lean into the stretch, and then inhale again when you release. And what you should notice here with this stretch is by the end of this movement, after doing about 10 to 15 pulse reps, is that you will be able to get a lot further than when you started. So the first rep is gonna be a lot more uncomfortable and a lot more stiff than the 10th, 15th, 20th. I want you to do this stretch on both legs for 2 sets of 20 reps each. Now the next hamstring stretch, which is actually my favorite and the one I use today, and is what I believe to be the most potent hamstring stretch to build flexibility, is called the elephant walk. And to start out with the elephant walk, if you're very stiff in the moment, is to do what I call hamstring wrench reps. And to do this, we're gonna fold forward to your end hamstring range of motion and essentially floss the leg and lean into the stretch repeatedly to basically force the hamstring into leg submission. And what you should notice with this is that by the end of the set, you're gonna be way more flexible than the beginning. And if this is uncomfortable to get into and this is uncomfortable to do the first couple reps, just keep in mind that the first reps and the first time you do this is gonna be the hardest. It gets so much easier and it gets so much more comfortable with time and volume in the stretch. So start with doing 20 quick hamstring wrench reps on each leg for 3 sets. So that's 120 total hamstring wrench reps, and yes, that's a lot, but these sets are pretty quick, and you might get a little bit addicted to it once you see how quickly your hamstrings lengthen and stretch and get to where you want them to be. The third hamstring stretch that I love doing is called the pancake, and this is a great one to do if bending your lower back is a pain trigger, because with this hamstring stretch, your lower back is gonna stay straight the whole time. And starting with the beginner progression to this stretch, spread your legs apart as far as comfortable, use a chair or a support in front of you, and slowly lean forward until you feel a really deep stretch in your hamstrings, and then hang out at the bottom of the rep there for 2 to 3 seconds. From there, contract all the way back up, and then go down for another rep and hold at the bottom for another 2 to 3 seconds. The pause at the bottom of these reps is where the money is made, where you're gonna actually build the length in the hamstring, so make sure to not neglect the hold at the bottom of the rep. Once you get comfortable doing pancake reps with the chair, you can progress to doing them without the chair and then eventually adding weight. No matter what progression you're at, using the chair, using your body weight, or using a weight, I recommend doing this for 3 sets of 10 reps with 2 to 3 second pauses on each and every rep. Now, if you have tried this and if you have tried wrenching and stretching your hamstrings for years, there are 2 secrets that I use to help unlock my hamstring flexibility even further that you may find beneficial as well to be able to stretch your hamstrings more. The first is deep tissue and trigger point massage. The reason for this is that if you are extremely knotted up, if you have trigger points, knots, tension, and tightness that have existed for years, sometimes that muscle fascia just won't stretch unless you physically manipulate and break up the tissue first. So if you try these 3 hamstring stretches, or you've tried a variety of others, and you just can't get anywhere, try breaking up the tissue first in the upper glutes, the hip flexors, and the hamstrings. You can use a tool like KeloClot, which obviously I recommend for this because it's the one I made. Otherwise, a foam roller, a ball, or a physical or massage therapist can help work out that tough muscle tissue as well. The second secret that might be holding you back from gaining hamstring flexibility is, believe it or not, stretching the hip flexor muscles in the front of the body. And the reason for this is because the hamstrings and the hip flexors fight for control of the pelvis, and pelvic position. What I mean by that is if your hamstrings are too loose and your hip flexors are tight, you'll get an anterior pelvic tilt, and your body doesn't like that, so the hamstrings might just retighten to align the pelvis. Likewise, if your hip flexors are loose and your hamstrings are too tight, you could fall into a posterior pelvic tilt, which in that case your hip flexors would just retighten to help align the pelvis so that the lower back is healthy and your body is more in alignment and hurts less. So if you have tight hamstrings, try doing these 3 stretches I have outlined in this video. Comment below if you've tried them before, and if you just can't gain length in the hamstrings, try the 2 secrets of deep tissue massage and stretching the hip flexors. I guarantee if you put all 5 of these things together, you will be able to stretch your hamstrings, you will build length without option. Try focusing on the hamstrings just 3 times a week for 3 to 4 weeks. Once you build length, you actually hold it for quite a while, so you maybe need to do 1 stretch every 1 or 2 weeks just to maintain it. But to actually build an adaptation in your body where you lengthen the hamstrings, you need some consistency and volume, so do it 3 days a week for 3 to 4 weeks, and I guarantee you'll feel a lot better. Check out this video next on me doing hamstring stretch 2, the elephant walk exercise.